What is up, guys? So, back obviously doing another mock draft. Today I'm going to do a 14-team mock on Yahoo. So, if you guys saw my previous mock draft, I was doing it on ESPN. I think it was a 10-team league. I wanted to give a little bit of a different perspective, also show on a different website. So, a couple of differences about ESPN and Yahoo. Obviously, the position format, there are 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and no flex. So, you're looking at a pretty heavy emphasis on wide receivers. As you can see, the wide receivers are ranked a lot higher in this. You got Dez at 7, Odell at 9, Demaryius at 10, Julio at 11. Running back slipped down a little bit. Matt Forte at 16. Le'Veon Bell at 5. And it's a different ranking system as a whole. If you can see over here, there's rankings all mixed up. LaShawn McCoy at 23 behind Justin Forsett. That's something you don't see a whole lot. Latavius Murray's pretty high up. Frank Gore, I think Frank Gore's right where he should be. And then you can, if you go quite a bit further down, you start getting some of the lower down names. Doug Martin's a guy that I think could have a huge year. He's been climbing draft boards pretty recently, and a couple of the guys even further down that I think are good pickups. Guys like Bishop Sankey and Alfred Blue. Alright, draft is underway. AP's probably going first. Oh, Tom Brady. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take AP. I don't think that Marshawn Lynch should be as high up as 2. Jamal Charles, it's always between Jamal Charles and Adrian Peterson for me at first pick. Eddie Lacy's a good option too, and if Le'Veon Bell wasn't suspended for the first 2 games, he'd be another good one. Pat Devlin taken 3rd overall. Alright guys, so obviously a lot of these guys aren't taking the mock draft too seriously, so I was planning on doing the first 8 rounds of the draft. These drafts can take a little while, and then I will give you guys a recap at the end. Also, I'll put the complete team in the description below. I tried to do a mock draft yesterday. But my computer died on me, so I wasn't able to get, I think, maybe past the 3rd round recorded. Believe the NFL starts a week from today. Pittsburgh against New England. College football starts tonight. At least the bigger games do. Tonight, I believe it's Michigan, Utah, Oklahoma State, and Central Michigan, and then South Carolina and North Carolina. So, really excited to have college football back today. Oh, and TCU, Minnesota, Duke, Tulane, UTSA, Arizona. So quite a few games today. Looks like some wide receivers are starting to be taken off the board. Antonio Brown went at 6, Des Bryant at 10. I was explaining this in my mock draft yesterday. In the 14-team leagues, I normally like to wait for a quarterback. Andrew Luck and Aaron Rodgers, if you can find them at a decent spot, then I'd go ahead and snag them up. But this year's a pretty good year for quarterback depth, and especially in a 14-team league. The first 5 rounds, you probably need to be spending them getting a running back or a wide receiver, or else you're going to be really thin at the position. I mean, there are some good quality guys down the board a little bit at quarterback. Looks like Andrew Luck was just taken. But yeah, down the list of ways are still some quality guys. Ryan Tannehill, Matthew Stafford, Colin Kaepernick, Teddy Bridgewater, Derek Carr's a little bit further down the list. I think all those guys are going to have quality seasons. I think people giving up on Colin Kaepernick a little bit too early. I don't know if he'll have. I don't think he'll have a top 10 or a top 5 year fantasy wise, but he'll definitely have his weeks. I think people are overestimating how good the NFC West is outside of the Seahawks. Also, if I would stay away from any 2 or 3 running backs in the first round, these guys are rated a little bit higher on ESPN, so this is a little bit more of ESPN fantasy advice, but I would stay away from LaShawn McCoy, DeMarco Murray, and CJ Anderson, just off what I've seen in the past. It's hard for Denver running backs to keep things going consistently for more than a year. And from what I've seen, DeMarco Murray looks like he'll probably end up getting burned out this year. He just had so many carries last year. Philadelphia runs such an up-tempo offense, and they got a lot of talent at that running back position. And when you look at the players around him, not a whole lot, to be honest. Lamar Miller's pretty high this year. I'm not a huge Lamar Miller fan, but I could see him having a decent year. But Latavius Murray, I think he's gonna be really good this year. Frank Gore, as long as he can manage to stay healthy. Go a little bit further down the list. Alfred Morse, guy I think could be huge this year. I really don't know why he's so far down on this list. Ameer Abdullah, another guy who, especially with Joique Bell having the injury trouble he's been having, looks like Ameer Abdullah might get a healthy amount of carries for this year. Doug Martin, like I said earlier, too. I would like C.J. Spiller. I think he's got definitely big playability in that offense. But at the same time, he's going to be running back by committee. Got another running back, Mark Ingram, in the backfield that's already going to be getting a ton of carries. So really, I think if you're picking up C.J. Spiller in the first 5 rounds, I think you're taking a pretty heavy risk. Let's see what's still on the board at wide receiver. Maybe can pick up LaShawn McCoy. Really no other options on the board right now. Take T.Y. Hilton. I like Jordan Matthews, but I don't think he's proven himself enough to be ranked as high as 24. T.Y. Hilton at 27 is a little bit early, but like I said, you gotta place a little bit more of an emphasis in Yahoo leagues. And Running back's really thin right now. Let's see if Jimmy. So I'm spreading it around a little bit early. Puts you in a little bit of a tough position when your second overall pick is 27th overall. Starts getting a little bit thin for what you think would be a quality second round pick. But really, after Jimmy Graham, it starts getting a little bit thin at tight end. I think Greg Olsen's solid, especially with Kelvin Benjamin going down. That's just more looks for him. I think you can find some quality points with Jordan Cameron or Jason Witten. And also Austin Seferian-Jenkins is I think he's a pretty intriguing option a little bit further down the list. Maybe him and Jameis Winston will have some chemistry that him and Josh McCown didn't. Still on the board for quarterbacks. And to be honest, at this point, I think picking up like a Drew Brees in the maybe around the 40th pick is definitely a nice little pickup to get. I think Drew Brees has got one last top 5 season in him. But like I said, there's quality down to... I think you looking at a tier 1 quarterback, maybe about down to Tony Romo. A lot of people have high expectations for Eli Manning, but I don't see it. He's got a lot of receivers back this year. Of course, Odell, and then he's also got... can't think of the name. Victor Cruz. But at the same time, their running back's a little bit thin. I think their starter's Rashad Jennings again this year. And I don't know if it's possible for Odell to have as good a season as he did last year. In the last fantasy draft I picked up Teddy Bridgewater. I think Bridgewater could have a huge year. He's got a lot of weapons around him. Cordarrelle Patterson can be a little bit more consistent, and obviously he's got Adrian Peterson in the backfield, and then Charles Johnson looks like he can be pretty good. So Teddy Bridgewater's got a lot to work with. It's the first good quarterback Minnesota's had in a little while. Honestly, he could probably be the best quarterback there since Dante Culpepper. Take a look through the draft results really quick. Alright, so Davante Adams just taken off the board. I think Davante Adams is a really intriguing option this year. Could definitely end up turning into a Randall Cobb from a couple seasons ago. Even at 41, I'd still probably take him. I think he's a solid option. See where Randall Cobb is taken. Randall Cobb's stock obviously got immediately boosted this year. He's a good receiver. He's going to get double coverage or the cream of the crop for a corner pretty much every game. But he's got maybe the best quarterback in all of football right now throwing to him. Not to mention he's a good receiver anyway. Emmanuel Sanders is a nice little steal on the board right now. Alfred Morse, a nice little pickup for any team right now. See if maybe him, Carlos Hyde, Ameer Abdullah, somewhere in that region will make it to my pick. I'm liking the way the board's looking right now, though. I think Brandon Marshall could be very good this year if he didn't have Geno Smith throwing to him. I think it was good for Brandon Marshall to get out of Chicago. Jay Cutler was had a nice little pairing with him. They had a nice thing going on for a little while, but Alshon Jeffrey was starting to take some of his reps away, some of his looks, and with all that inconsistency in the offense the last few years, Jay Cutler's inconsistencies the last 2 years, I think it was about time for Brandon Marshall. I mean, if he's got a good quarterback throwing to him in New York, I think he can pretty much return to being a top 20 player, being a tier 1 wide receiver. He's definitely got the talent still. I just don't know if the Jets have the quarterback to do it. Ooh, dang. See if maybe Ameer Abdullah can slip. See what's here, wide receiver. I'm looking Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's rated pretty high in ESPN leagues. I think he's like 40th. I think around 55, maybe 60 is the right place for him. Definitely a solid pickup if you can get him around that point, but picking him up around the 35th or 40th pick like he's going in most ESPN leagues is really high. This is when the quarterbacks are probably going to start falling off the board pretty quickly. These guys around Big Ben to Cam Newton, maybe the Ryan Tannehill spots start really falling off. A lot of people look. Oh yeah, like I was saying, you can see the quarterbacks starting to fall off pretty quickly. Like I said, the mid-tier guys start falling off around round 6 or around 5, I'd say around like late round 5, early round 6. Looks like a lot of people are starting to leave the draft. Most of these guys are taking their full 30 seconds too, so the draft is taking a little while. Oh, looks like Tannehill was taken off the board. See if I can land either like Cam Newton or Teddy Bridgewater, maybe Phillip Rivers. Really in one on the board right now. So I still need one more wide receiver. Board's not looking so good for wide receivers right now, though. Normally a big believer with Marques Colston. No one's really been more consistent, or at least there's very few people that have been so consistent as Marques Colston for the last what, 8 years. Also, if Martavis Bryant wasn't suspended, or for how many, I don't remember how many games it is. I think it's 4. So I'll be able to pick up Cam. Alright, and then pick up Marques Colston to finish it off. Actually, if Doug Martin is still there. No. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up Marques Colston to finish off the draft. Alright guys, like I said, I'm only going to do the first 7 rounds are recorded, so give you guys a little recap of the team I got going so far. Excuse me. Cam Newton at quarterback, T.Y. Hilton, Keenan Allen, Marques Colston, wide receiver, Adrian Peterson, and Ameer Abdullah at running back, and then Jimmy Graham at tight end. So, pretty even across the board. Not really any one stacked position. I do like this team. So, yeah, like I said, I'll put in the description below the team that I end up with. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah.